Canadian flight attendants are fighting back against unpaid work.
Minimizing food waste. A smaller size so you can savor every drop. Well, the one drop you do get. Introducing infinite legroom. We've removed all the seats. You have to stand like it's a bus.
This is one of the satirical commercials taking aim at Air Canada by the union representing thousands of Canadian flight attendants. This is part of their campaign, Unpaid Work is Unfair. For more on the campaign, we'll bring in Wesley Lasosky. He's the president of the Air Canada component of CUPE. Welcome to your morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Leslie, can you explain the list of examples of unpaid work currently being expected by flight attendants?
Yeah, the list goes on. So basically, we put on our uniform at the beginning of our duty day, which is when we start working. We arrive to the airport, and from there, we commence regulatory safety checks, safety briefings, boarding of passengers, assisting with special attention passengers, passengers with disabilities, dealing with delays, service on the ground. And then, of course, when the aircraft starts moving, we're paid. And then when we get to our destination, once the brakes are set, we're typically not paid from that point forward. So we're again helping with passengers with disabilities, the deplaning process, finalizing security sweeps, checking doors, etc. So the list is quite extensive on the ground.
I think that was a surprise to people a lot when they first heard that most of their actions with flight attendants typically happen before we get into the air, and yet that is what is being listed as unpaid work. The union has been running this Unpaid Work Won't Fly campaign. What are you hoping to accomplish?
Basically, I feel we've strongly accomplished it, and it's educating the public as well as getting the membership on board with the full understanding of how it works throughout Canada and typically throughout North America. A lot of airlines have made changes to this, but I think the big thing is to show to the flying public, our customers, our passengers, that there's a need for change on this. And the most important part of our rules are the safety and security aspects, which typically happen on the ground in preparation for a flight.
You represent 10,000 Air Canada members, and contract negotiations are coming up this spring at the end of March. What are you going to be asking for?
We'll be asking for an array of things. Obviously, the main thing is to stop the unpaid work. We're looking for wage increases, which have pretty much been stagnant over the last 10 years. We're currently in a 10-year collective agreement. We're looking for changes to benefits, looking for changes to pension, as well as just general work rules.
I think a lot of people, when they find this out, are wondering, how did this happen? How do we have a job that most of us have interacted with at some point in our lives or other that deals with unpaid work? We don't have unpaid work in a lot of other professions. And when we did see it in professions like teaching, there was a correction.
Yeah, I think basically we're currently in a 10-year collective agreement with Air Canada Rouge flight attendants. And prior to COVID, a lot of this didn't come up. But after the COVID inflation crisis, the purchasing power plummeted, and many of our members started to have to get second and third jobs. The wages that we were paid prior to COVID were seen as good for the times. The minimum wage federally was a lot lower than it is now. So it just hasn't kept up with how things are.
We've seen a number of pilot strikes and negotiations in the last couple of years. South of the border, United Airlines flight attendants, they voted to strike last August. Why are you getting the message out there now?
Sorry, why are we getting the message out now?
Yeah, and this is leading up to, I imagine, what's coming up, the negotiations in March.
Apologies. Yeah, no, we're definitely getting the message out now so we can work through contract negotiations. And obviously the goal is to come to a settlement with Air Canada. So we don't have to go through the strike route or go down a strike path. We're looking to ratify something that organically comes from the table that both sides are happy with and the membership obviously votes for.
Given your interaction so far, are you confident that will happen?
Actually, we're going into negotiations this morning in just under an hour, so I'm hopeful that things will start off to the right start. Absolutely.
All right, Wesley Lasosky, good to talk to you this morning as you head into those important conversations. Thanks for being with us today.
Excellent. Thanks for having us. Thank you.
All right. If you liked that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.